Hello again, it's Priscilla Batzel in Spring Hill, Florida at Expressionist Art Studio Gallery on Thanksgiving Day, and I want to do something like I want to do every day. I'm going to put my glasses on my face and I'm going to grab some white paint and I'm going to try again to make a ring pour because I am not very good at doing that. I mean, I didn't do all that badly with making ring pours, but I also very seldom follow through with the whole gig. So I'm going to try and leave my tops off, and I'm going to try not to be upset with myself for not having cleaned my tips out again, because I realize again that I haven't done so. And sometimes when there isn't enough paint in a bottle with a marble in it, the marble will fall into the tip, so don't be frustrated by that. I'm going to find a way to fix that. I am going to more than likely put some kind of mesh into the tip, I think. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to do a rainbow pour. I'm not sure if my rainbow pour will be like everybody else's rainbow pour. Probably not. But in any case, I've shaken all my paints. My paint mixture is GAC 800 by Golden to prevent cracking, and after that it's just Floetrol. The recipe is underneath the video in the description. Alright, it's time for some brighter paints, and I think I'm going to use this pink instead of white to see if I can keep my that's not my favorite color, I have to tell you. To keep my neon folk art multi-surface acrylic bright. I always use a lighter color next to these. I thought because I've been trying and failing with 14-inch canvases to do ring pours that I would probably be better off to go ahead and try something a little bit larger. So that's my plan. I would like enough purple, and I have discovered that whatever goes in last goes down first, and I keep forgetting that. So I'm going to have a dark blue center, which is not really what I had in mind. Anyway, we're sort of coming along with this. Come off. I didn't put any of my beautiful green gold in there, which is too bad because I'd like to have some in there. Keep that top off. Hoping I'm going to have enough time to do a couple of paintings and a couple of videos today. And I've got a lighter and a darker yellow. The darker one is when I use it from my extreme fluid art, paint. It's called Dairy Lid. What else? Oh, that can do that green still. I can, and I can be right now, too. Come all the way back around. I didn't use enough blue, I don't think, but I still don't mind what I've got. I'm pretty happy about it. I'm not exactly next to that pour spout, but I am liking the colors I've got, even if I did forget red. Do I need red in there next to green? No, I don't. Do I want something a little different? Maybe I do. I'm doing it. I think we have plenty of paint. Now the whole key to this process working well is for me to be patient. And I'm not. And I'm also not done pouring paint in there. I don't know how I got off center. But I'm going to give it a shot one more time. Because I can. I'm going to put that aside for a minute and introduce you from those, I can't talk. I have an OXO omelet turning spatula. It's on the Amazon link underneath my video, and the reason I love it is because it spreads paint better than any other tool. I don't know what that is. That looks like something that does not belong. Yes, goodbye something that does not belong. So this gives you a choice to have a thick layer or a thin layer, and I found recently that sometimes it's necessary, especially when you're doing simple stamping stuff, dipping objects and putting them on the canvas, sometimes it's a really good idea to have a thin layer, because otherwise you lose your pattern that you're putting in there. I might have put too much paint on there. Chances are good I got a little carried away, but that's okay. I'll make the best of it. Maybe I'll put some of it over here next to me. And you can scrape paint off your canvas with spatulas. I have a whole collection of spatulas. Where are they? I have them. They're right here. They're Princeton Art Tool, Princeton Catalyst silicone spatulas. They are also findable underneath, excuse me, by following the Amazon link. I don't know, I seem to lately have lost my ability to communicate very well after having repeated the same thing like 1,000 times, so pardon me. Not the first day with my new lips, but I have my glasses on so I can actually see the difference between white paint and white canvas. Although they're my reader, my seriously prescribed readers, so that looks like, I don't know what. Probably wouldn't show later, but I don't want it there now. It looks like a filament of some kind. Alright, so I'm hoping, because it's a 69-degree day here in Florida, which is actually pretty cold for us who are used to like 80s and 90s, that spatula goes in the bucket, that that paint won't set up too fast. I want to love these cups, but the pour spout doesn't really pour as well as I'd like it to. I'm glad I have both purple in the middle and at the outside edge. I'm not as sure about the white being in the center, although I bet I can get some cells out of that. I'm just going to let that drain. And I have beautiful paint in there, and I can scrape around and get most all of that off to use if I so desire, and I kind of do. I seem to have misplaced my round. No, there it is. Cool. Yes, I misplaced it, but it didn't place it far. I love my square tip and my round tip are really my two favorites. There, that's good, because I wasn't overly super thrilled with having just that white. I'm going to put that in the bucket. Please, for your own sake, please do not put your paint water down your sink or toilet or bathtub, because it will coat the pipes. I have a silicone baking sheet next to me today, and often, that I intend on putting some paint on later. And usually I keep a piece of Reynolds freezer paper, which has a nice actual plasticated siliconed layer on top of it. And I just recently had some fun taking some pictures of accidental art, combining a whole bunch of edge catchers. And I used my palette knife to separate the paint off of the freezer paper, and it came up really easily and well. And I really appreciated that. That was fun to do. I did that this morning. One day I'll have time to edit them, in between editing all the rest of my stuff. I don't usually go around in a circle, but it seems to be working okay. I want to recenter my paint. It's something Gina always recommends. Gina DeLuca, a talented pouring artist who has inspired me. Hers are a little more accidental, and she appreciates the purity of the accidental art a little more than I do. I can't quite help myself. I need to change things up once in a while. I think more yellow next time. And I have to decide, once I get to a place where I'm getting nearer the outside edge, what I might consider pouring off. Some of that has to do with me being able to be allowed to keep my color, the neon folk art, the neon purple by folk art. It's a acrylic, a multi-surface acrylic, which reminds me, if you get it on something and it dries, it doesn't come off very easily at all. Well, this is turning out kind of cool. I got a bunch of really neat patterns happening. I'm actually following through with my desire to allow a ring pour to be a ring pour. And my rainbow doesn't look as rainbow as I was expecting it to. By any stretch of the imagination. Because my orange has disappeared and my yellow is not in evidence. But I love the colors that are left. I'm okay with them. Now normally if I wanted to save part of my pattern, I would more or less put some paint around the outside of this, because as it flows it swallows up some of the stuff I like. I think that was one of the reasons I was rotating the design. It's because it seemed to equally disperse the outside ring. I don't think I can get back to round again, and it would be kind of a huge waste to try. We only have 6 minutes left, so I'm going to tell you, if you appreciate the studio's experiments, I sell my artwork, but I also have a place that you can donate to help keep me painting and living. I have Patreon and PayPal donation links on both the YouTube header and right under... Is that something? Yes, it is. Goodbye, something. Where was I? There are links under the video in the description. I did mention that my paint pouring recipe was in the description under the video, as well as my Pinterest board links and my Instagram links, right next to the volumes 1 and 2 that are on Facebook of the YouTube artworks. I'm not sure. There's an Amazon link that might be under the clothing displayed lately on my most recent videos by Teespring, and there's a bunch of Because I Can slogans, for those of you who followed me for a while. That's the studio's catchphrase, because I can. I do it because I can, and I do it because I can. That is the truth. I don't want to lose all that pink, and I really think I might be just ready to use an edge catcher. I'm not super thrilled with all that white in there, but I might change my mind, because a lot of times you can do these, whoops, there goes some paint. Okay then, so I'm going to pull out an edge catcher, and I think I'm going to let it pool and run, and that makes my ring pours a little different than other people's. I'm going to flatten out my canvas and let it run back. And that way, I can change up that white area that I wasn't so sure about. And I'm going to do a little something. I just want some of that beautiful fuchsia color along the edge there. And I got my whole arm protecting that pooling paint as best I can. And now I'm going to throw it back over. Yes, I got some pink in there. I'm happy. I also see an object that does not belong again. Oh, it was a bubble and it popped. Now, the cool thing about the spatulas is that you can just put them on the edge catcher. And usually you can deposit them even including the pattern that you picked up, which means that anything that I want up here to take away from this edge catcher will probably... Oh, it's raining. Cool. Rain is always lucky for me, especially when the lightning doesn't hit me. If you go back, there's over 330 videos. If you go back far enough, there's some daredevil painters in Florida videos where I'm out in the terrible weather. I see you, little spot. I'm going to hold that in the middle, and I'm going to attempt to not put too big of a fingerprint in the other end. And I'm also going to attempt to get my hand flush behind that pool of paint. And I have some really cool stuff happening. And I can sort of adjust which way it's going. But I'm afraid I don't really want to lose all that beautiful pink. I'm making some other colors, but they're not mud, they're sort of red, which is okay with me. Put that edge catcher down for a second. And what am I going to do? I'm going to use my favorite color, the neon purple from Folk Art that I keep mentioning, that's multi-surface, that's not easy to find. And I think I'm not really done yet, so I don't promise not to change everything up the way I always do. And I think that will help a lot to do that. I kind of missed the black I could have had in there. I'm going to come back over here and try and line up my edge catcher. I'm going to have some fingerprints to fix afterwards. The edge catchers are made from the protective layer inside a 16 by 20 inch package of canvases from Michaels. And I just got tired of having myself covered in paint. I want that to go all the way down. And I don't want it to drip down the edge catcher too far. And that's great, because that's really what I wanted to have happen there. To change up that. You can also just scrape it right back onto the canvas. Maybe I have a little one I can use over there later. So that's kind of cool so far. And I've stayed sort of mostly inside my parameters. I'm going to put a little more white paint there. And I'm going to think about whether I want to... I'm so tempted to take my basting brush and fake it. See what happens. Yeah, it'll work, but whether I want it to work or not is a question. And I do have some stuff. I am going to be using the extra paint that I allowed to flow onto my edge catcher. I'm going to be using it to cover... Oh, that's cool. That's perfect. Right over the edge and back. Creating cool pattern. All this is facilitated by the GAC 800. I think I've told you everything I need to tell you, except for that there's a contest going on until December 5th at midnight, where if you look for the studio tour that I posted in November, and it's still 2018, that's an assumption, you'll have, if you win by donating, if I draw your name, if you donate and I draw your name, whoops, that wasn't necessary, you'll have a choice of one of 3 paintings, and the paintings are at the beginning and the end of the tour. There's a little out of focus stuff in there too, but I'm not unhappy with this. This is kind of cool. It still makes me want to put some purple in. Really a lot. And let's see what happens. I think so. I think I'm just going to have to give myself permission to do what I want. And you're probably going to be gone. The paint is heavy. Don't forget the GAC 800 by Golden. Just a little here and there. And a skewer if I can find one. You can do this too. You can add paint where you want to. I'll see you in the next video. I want to thank all of my contributors. You guys make everything possible. And I want to thank everybody who gives me a thumbs up too, because that's really important in the YouTube standing and I need them. So if you're feeling generous and you like what I do, give me a thumbs up please. I like this. I'm pretty happy with my ring pour and I didn't do too much outside the norm. I will be checking my edges and spatula, using the spatula to remove